The game of baseball is played a little differently depending on where it's played and what level it's played at. Even with that, baseball has shown how it can very easily ignore the rules of how time works at every level of the game. Because baseball doesn't have a clock, like basketball or football, little differences in play style can mean there's no time limit, and in theory, no time minimum. But on September 28, 1919, the Philadelphia Phillies and New York Giants challenged what that minimum time could be. The time when a full 9-inning Major League Baseball game was completed in just 51 minutes, the world record for fastest 9-inning MLB game. How could this have possibly happened? First, let's set the stage and give some context. Foolish Baseball has a great video on the difficulties of finishing a game in under 2 hours in the current baseball environment. This was under 1. We need to figure out how. Right from the start, the average length of a game in this era was much shorter than today. In 1915, MLB games on average were, according to Baseball Reference, 1 hour and 53 minutes. A laughably short rate compared to today. Currently, the record for shortest 9-inning game might very well be the hardest record to break in all of MLB. Baseball games have been criticized for their long length over the recent past, and the numbers show that the average games have been increasingly getting longer as time has passed. In 2019, the last full season without 7-inning doubleheaders and with fans in the stands, the average game lasted about 3 hours and 5 minutes. In 2005, it was 2 hours 49 minutes. Go all the way back to 1976, and the average game was 2 hours and 29 minutes long. This was the last year the average game was under 2.5 hours. Games were regularly hovering around the 2 hours 25 minute mark in the 70s, a full 40 minutes shorter on average than a 2019 game. This isn't just happening in Major League Baseball. College baseball is seeing games get longer and longer too, even quicker. In the 2015 College World Series, the average game took 3 hours and 19 minutes. Just 3 years later, over 3.5 hours. You're starting to push Snyder Cut / NASCAR race territory with some of these games. Some American high school seniors who get out early could potentially have shorter school days than the average College World Series game. Like, what? What's the point of all this? Two things, really. One, to show how difficult it'll be to play a game in 51 minutes ever again. And two, to start setting the stage for the ingredients of how a full 9-inning baseball game was played in under an hour. Number one, games were just played faster back then, and here's a great stat showing how. In 1919, the year our 51-minute game was played, the average number of pitchers a team used in the game was 1.58. Last season, 4.43. More pitchers in a game either means more visits being taken to take a pitcher out mid-inning, or at the very least, more opening warm-up pitches needed for each new guy that comes in. You better believe the Phillies and Giants starters each went the distance on September 28, 1919. Jesse Barnes of the Giants and Lee Meadows of the Phillies were both the only pitchers each team used. Another ingredient to help pace a play that MLB is surely aware of: more balls in play. Less strikeouts usually means quicker at-bats, unless you're Luis Guillorme.
This is the 22nd pitch of the at-bat from Hicks to Guillorme. And Guillorme walks, works out a walk.
Quicker at-bats usually means quicker games. And in this game, there were just 3 strikeouts. 2 in the second inning, 1 in the 5th. So this game just flew by from the 5th inning on. There were only 3 walks too, so this game was absolutely helped by quick ABs. Very important for your world record run. Up to this point, you've seen trends in baseball that lead to a quicker pace of play and shorter game times. If the league really wants to address these issues, these are clear places to start. And at this time, they've already taken initiatives to do so. A 3-batter minimum minimizes pitching changes, and actually enforcing the foreign substance rule should cut down on strikeouts. Pitchers getting away with using foreign substance makes their spin rates higher, and the ball is thus harder to hit. Because, you know, spinny balls equals funny swing and misses. I mean, look at this. But now, we're gonna get what separated the Phillies-Giants game from 1919 from every other game ever played. It just so happened that for both teams, the hitters went up to the plate intending to swing at the first pitch, and intentionally putting the ball in play as soon as possible. Typically with the lower strikeout rates from 100 years ago, it just happened naturally. In this game, they blatantly tried to speed things up and have the at-bats as concise as possible. Why would you do this? Think about it this way. You ever play MLB The Show when you're either in a hurry or up or down by a lot of runs? You ever just wish in the bottom of the 8th or top of the 9th of a no-hitter or perfect game that the hitters would just swing at everything so you could see whether or not the special pitching gem is going to get completed? That's because you have something you're looking at past the at-bats in that very moment. These teams felt the same way, for 2 reasons. Number 1, this was the first game of a doubleheader. The players were in for at least 18 innings and wanted to breeze right through them as quick as they could. For the first 9, they accomplished that better than any game in MLB history before or since. Doubleheaders can be grueling, sometimes dreadful to play in, especially during daytime, and this was before night games were even a thought. There's a reason why both MLB and college baseball are trying out 7-inning doubleheaders to help with this. Hall of Famer Ernie Banks is famous for his enthusiastic mantra, "Let's play 2." On that day, the Phillies and the Giants wished they could have played 0. The Giants entered the day 10.5 games out of first with 2 games to play. If you need a little bit of math help, there is no way for them to get into first place. And in 1919, there were no playoffs. Just 1 team from the AL and 1 team from the NL in the World Series, and that's it. As you may know, that ended up being the White Sox versus the Reds in 1919, and the Reds definitely won that series fair and square. So the Giants players felt a little less motivated than usual to play on September 28th. If that sounds bad for them, the Phillies entered the day with a 47-88 record. But are you ready for what ended up being the biggest reason this game was able to reach its record-breakingly short length of 51 minutes? The second reason these 2 teams were looking to get out of there quicker? The teams agreed to try and set the shortest game record. That's right. The Phillies and the Giants came together with the plan to break MLB's shortest game record before the game started. That explains why the hitters were going up to the plate swinging as early as they could, like they wanted to get the game over as soon as possible. Because they literally were. This has to be one of the only times 2 sports teams ever came together to work towards a bigger common goal instead of just competing against each other. Wouldn't it be useful if every baseball game the 2 teams just came together and worked towards some common goal? No, because we like competition, but this is what happened. What have we learned today? If you want to challenge baseball's shortest game record, you need long outings from your starting pitchers, very low strikeout and walk totals for the game, quick at-bats, at least a little bit of apathy from the players, and teaming up with your opponent for a shot at the record together. Good luck to anyone looking for the chaos this game would cause. Because as far as we know, there will never be another game like this one.